my name is Emily. I'm a second year here at Foothill College studying biology, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about macromolecules, one in particular, carbohydrates. Macromolecules are essential molecules that living organisms use to function properly. These four macromolecules are proteins. Proteins can speed up chemical reactions. Fatty acids. These fatty acids can be used as structural support in eukaryotic cells. Nucleic acids can store genetic information, and carbohydrates are used as energy storage. These functions mentioned aren't the only functions that they can provide, but they are a few of the things that they can do. In our day-to-day life, we consume food to fuel our bodies. A food group in particular, carbohydrates. We can find carbs in foods like bread, wheat, rice, pasta, mainly anything that comes from grains. And these carbohydrates can be used as energy storage or just energy in general for living organisms like this bunny here. Carbs are our instant source of energy, meaning before anything else, our body will use up these carbs first. For example, this man that's running, he needs an instant source of energy to be able to do this action. So here is kind of like the process. When our bodies digest these carbs, they turn into sugars, and these sugars are known as glucose. These glucose molecules are known as the monomer of a carbohydrate, and so these monomers can link together with other monomers to create a huge polymer of carbohydrates. One of these monomers is known as a monosaccharide, mono meaning one, and saccharide meaning sugar. Well, you may be asking yourself, what is a polysaccharide? A polysaccharide are long, huge chains of monosaccharides made up of hundreds of thousands of individual monosaccharides, just like this example here. And so, what is the purpose of a polysaccharide? Well, they're stored as energy for later use. Plants and animals both make their own distinct polysaccharide chain. And there are two types of glucose isomers that we'll focus on. One of the isomers is beta glucose, and the other one is alpha glucose. And what makes these two different from each other is the orientation of their hydrogen atoms and their hydroxide atoms. Plants and animals both store their energy in a chain of alpha glucose monomers, known as glycogen in animals and starch in plants. Although they use the same glucose isomer to store their energy, only plants make beta glucose. And this chain of beta glucose is also known as cellulose. This cellulose provides the structural support for the plant cell wall. An example of humans' absence of beta glucose is when we eat foods rich in cellulose, for example, corn. The outer shell of the corn is partially composed of cellulose, and when we ingest it, we can't fully digest this beta glucose molecule because we don't have the enzyme to break down this molecule, resulting in soluble fiber. Plants aren't the only organisms that use carbohydrates as structural support. Fungi, insects, and crustaceans, for example, use chitin, and bacteria use peptidoglycan to support their cell membrane. This peptidoglycan is made up of amino acids and carbohydrates. To conclude, carbohydrates are an essential macromolecule that all living organisms use to function properly. They're an organism's main source of energy, but they aren't limited to this function. Carbohydrates can provide structural support, or they can induce cell signaling, and I'm sure they have many other functions other than that. I hope this helped, and thank you for watching.